Welcome to another edition of The Home Stretch. I'm Zach Groth. Today we'll take an in-depth look at a few sports stories we've uncovered throughout the area. Each passing year, there's a growing awareness of severe injuries to athletes when playing contact sports, especially pertaining to head injuries. The IHSA has recently taken another step to address the situation. Charlie Edward takes us inside bill number 5431.
An August of choreographed chaos brings bands back together for bells to be rung. The beat of the drums reaches a fervent pace with each passing day, leading up to the athletes taking the field again. But the crescendo we've all grown so accustomed to is becoming softer, as cautiousness toward concussions strings a new chord in the program.
What's new for IHSA this year is the education piece. A House bill that was passed just in recent legislation period, where now athletic directors, administrators, coaches, both head coaches and assistant coaches, must take basically an online webinar class on concussion education.
The intent of the program is to heighten awareness regarding concussion and subconcussive head trauma amongst all high school coaches and all student athletes.
With that, another step is taken. Shortened training camps, concussion protocol policies, and now an education system puts into perspective the seriousness of a situation some have just started to recognize, though other schools like Naperville Central have been on the ball for some time.
We've been using the impact testing, the pre-testing and then the post-concussion symptom testing, probably for about 15, maybe even a few more years than that.
So it's a wonder that it took until the late 2000s for all the worry to set in. The Daily Herald reported that participation in high school football has seen a 4.6 decline since 2008.
Some of these guys that are now in their 50s, 60s, 70s and having all of these, medical issues that they're tracing back now that could have been caused from concussions back at earlier years.
Some of those problems have proven to be fatal. 10-time All-Pro linebacker Junior Seau committed suicide in May of 2012. Following a history of concussions his ex-wife Gina said he would always play through.
So there are changes in brain chemistry, as a result of brain injury. But it can also come from the mere fact that the individual is not able to do what they want to do, or they're not doing it in a way that they're accustomed to.
Seau lost himself through years of living up to the culture of sport, playing through the pain. Bennett Academy Athletic Director Gary Goforth played college football at Augustana, and he can attest to that line of thinking.
When you felt like coming back in, you'd come back in. That was just the culture, and that's. I'm sure a lot of people that are my age that played the sport probably had some type of concussion. But
the problem isn't limited to football. The American Journal of Sports Medicine says of nearly 2,000 athletes who reported concussions between 2008 and 2010, 8.2% were girls soccer players, and the reasons why have little to do with violence, but rather technique.
How the girls technically head the ball. If you watch a men's game, the men tend to go up with their arms to kind of help protect themselves, whereas the girls oftentimes go straight up with their arms to their side.
Coaching technique is a potent way to reduce the risk of concussions is an idea that the IHSA agrees with.
The lack of proper coaching that those players are receiving. Undoubtedly, there are some good lower than high school level coaches, and this is from my experience as a parent, that's not always the case. The youth level coach is more concerned about winning.
While technique is part of the issue, almost everything in human nature goes back to what we grew up accustomed to.
When I first started and when I played, it was I got my bell rung.
Or some type of getting their bell rung.
You got your bell rung, you're fine.
You get your bell rung, shake it off, and get back in there.
You didn't know what long-term damage could come from a number of concussions.
There's still a big culture out there that's very old school about head injuries.
Shaking a belief so thoroughly ingrained is easier said than done. Bennett Academy volleyball player Aileen Griffin fell right into the culture. Since winning an AAU 16U national championship in Florida, Griffin's once promising playing career has been shelved by repetitive concussions.
My first concussion happened while doing sprints at practice. I went down to touch the line, and when I came back up, there was someone coming straight down and I hit right in her shoulder.
There, the social stigma set in.
I just wanted to shake it off and pretend like, oh, that's no big deal. I'm a strong, tough player. Like, I can get through anything. But looking back on it, I know that I should have stopped when I felt those feelings before.
Griffin's year-long recovery has been lengthened by her love of the game and an urge to satisfy teammates and coaches.
I definitely think that more knowledge just about like concussions in general could be very beneficial. I kind of just didn't want to really show or say anything that I did have a concussion. That was not like the right thing to do. That ended up just hurting me more in the long run.
Aileen was unable to try out this year and is still recovering from her symptoms. And then, supporting the IHSA's belief that it's all in coaching technique, come players like Chelsea Myers, a junior midfielder at Neuqua Valley, set back by 3 concussions of her own.
A lot of the girls don't even know how to go up. Like some of the schools that don't have like good programs, they just like go up and just kind of like swing their elbows and everything, and it's just not hard to get a concussion in those situations.
ClearToPlay.org says female high school soccer players suffer almost 40% more concussions than males. With increases in information like this and yearly improvements in technology, some wonder whether or not a day will come that concussions from sports are a thing of the past.
It's like a car. I mean, seatbelts are designed to protect people, and so are airbags, but yet people get paralyzed and killed from airbags and seatbelts.
For football, those airbags and seatbelts might be transmitters placed in helmets used to record the G-force of a hit.
A certain amount of G-force supposedly is a threshold of, you might want to go check that kid.
But from that same study done by the American Journal of Sports Medicine, nearly half of the concussions reported were by football players, 41% more than number 2, girls soccer. So the sport with its future most in question will always be football.
Follow the money. And NFL's the money, and so those are where your high profiles are right now.
But if there's one thing standing in the way of football's future, it's not fear, it's legalities.
There's been a recent settlement with the NFL and NFL Players Association with their class action lawsuit about concussions. If that gets picked up at the lower levels, our school districts don't have those deep pockets to settle something like that. That's where you might see football disappear.
For now, no such lawsuits have come into question. And no further plans are in place for the IHSA's fight against concussions, at least for 2014. So the bands will gather again for their music to be heard as an underscore to high school competition. Though for football, uncertainty will linger. Passion may never fade, but even the most eloquently written music is refined and refrained. Even with the increase in concussion awareness, there's still been a rise in high school football participation for the first time in 5 years. Reporting from Naperville Central for the Homestretch, I'm Charlie Edward.
The new bill is the latest in a series of attempts by the IHSA to help reduce concussions. For more information on the new program, log on to ihsa.org. We'll be back with more of the Homestretch after the break.
We at BMO Harris Bank are proud to be the bank that defines a great customer experience.
Serving the Naperville community for over 55 years, BMO Harris Bank helps customers with a full suite of retail, commercial, investment, and wealth management solutions. Stop in and see why BMO Harris Bank was voted Naperville's best bank.
When you throw away money on wasted electricity, you're throwing away everything you could have bought with it. Saving energy saves you money. Learn more at energysavers.gov.
When populations increase in major cities, more and more land becomes consumed by homes and businesses, leaving less space for outdoor activities. Equestrian competitions remain popular in the western suburbs of Chicago, but there's only one place left in Naperville that offers lessons in boarding.
And and give. Now canter and trot. Good job.
This 20-acre plot of land off Hobson Road forms Trillion Equestrian, the last living barn in Naperville. Owner and operator Ann Janke uses these grounds to spread her passion for horseback riding throughout the area.
Sit up and halt.
She says the west suburbs have substantial interest in the sport.
Horses are not the cheapest sport to have, so we're really fortunate that Naperville's been such a good supporter, and we have a lot of students that come in on a weekly basis.
Good girl.
About 130 riders stop by every week to learn from the Trillion instructors. These riders can be as young as 6 years old, and there's no age considered too old to ride.
I believe in the Olympics for riding, the oldest rider was 78. So there is no top limit on how old or how young you have to be to enjoy horses. They can be enjoyed by anybody.
Switch the bend and then back.
Trillion specializes in teaching 3 styles of riding: dressage, western, and hunter-jumper. A quick stroll through the stables and office can show visitors how successful these students have fared in competition. Riders have to develop different skills for each discipline.
The horses don't always want to go through, so you have to have your leg contact, your hand contact, and your eye contact. It's all about balance, hand-eye coordination.
Every rider has their own story about how they became involved in the niche sport. Family or friends often help create that initial connection.
I was really interested in the animal, and my grandma used to own 2 horses, so I think that's why I'm interested in horses.
When I was younger, my friend, she did horseback riding, and she told me to come to her barn and watch her. And I saw all her interaction with horses, and I wanted to try it myself.
There's about 40 horses on the premises at any given time, and students have plenty of opportunities to learn about styles of riding and different ways to take care of the animals. Some riders share their favorite parts of their days at Trillion.
I think it's grooming the horse because I get to know them and, find out what their sweet spots are and things like that.
I did my trot the whole time.
I just love the horses. They're just majestic, beautiful creatures, and there's so much we can learn from them, and having the bond with them is the most special thing, I would say.
Lessons cover much more than how to maneuver once you're already riding. Students have to learn how to tack a horse, getting them into all the necessary gear before a ride.
Good girl. Here we go. You're all tacked up.
Once the horse has the proper equipment, the rider must make sure they're mentally prepared.
You also have to be confident. If you're not confident with your horse, they'll be really edgy and uncertain.
Having familiarity with the horse can also prove beneficial during competitions.
I'm taking her to a show, so I'm trying to work on bonding with her and getting really close so that we can be really confident in it.
The temperament of the horses is really important because not every horse has the right mindset to be useful in training situations. Howdy here is great for beginners like me because he's so calm.
The horse really has to be able to take it all in stride and not react. So my job is to find that well-tempered horse that's not reactionary, that's going to keep them safe.
This is really the only sport that the equipment has its own brain. So you're dealing with, 2 different brains that maybe aren't on the same page, and it's joining them together to get the result that you want to see.
Payne says finding the right horse to pair with a particular student often poses a daunting challenge.
You have some riders that are very timid, so they need a horse that's not going to scare them or be too fresh, as it would. You've got some riders that are very bold, and you don't want to put them on a horse that's very bold because they could be jumping the moon.
That bond between rider and horse provides one of the key differences compared to other sports. Equestrian events offer this unique appeal to many riders who aren't interested in traditional team athletics.
Football, basketball, soccer, volleyball, those are great sports and they're great hand-eye coordination for the kids to learn. But a lot of the kids just aren't into that sport. This is their sport.
Lessons and boarding come with a hefty price tag, and not every town has enough space to accommodate proper training. But under the right circumstances, there are incredible rides to be had. Reporting from Trillion Equestrian in Naperville, this is Zach Groth. We'll have more of the home stretch after this.
Got the uniform. Now for the outerwear. Team hoodies? Maybe something retro.
That's it. What about a pullover? Something with more detail. Clear the design and add the team colors. Perfect. How about a pattern? Add the logo. And name and numbers. Nice.
So, I got this new family, and I don't know what it is about this one, but she can't seem to put down that toy all day long. Tap, 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 tap. Oh, and she even talks to it. She talks to that more than she talks to him. What's up, bro? Nice shirt. Who's she talking to? Her mom? She talks to her mom a lot.
In high school, cross country blows by quickly. Once the season begins in early September, runners have about 6 weeks to get ready for conference invite. But the memories and relationships stick around much longer. Justin Zipser checks in with a local cross-country powerhouse and finds this season, Neuqua Valley is racing for much more than quick times.
Mid-August, it's business as usual for Neuqua Valley men's cross-country. Up at the crack of dawn,
started running a little bit? Okay.
Nearly 150 athletes convene at the DuPage River Sports Complex.
First of all, finishing the workout, especially when it's a tough one, feels good. It feels good to know that you accomplished something this early in the day.
That was just the motivation for me. I mean, just knowing that I'm going to go out there and I'm going to get benefit from what I'm about to do.
The work put in now will almost assuredly benefit not only the runners, but also the team. For the 18th year, Neuqua is opening its doors to begin a new school year. In that same time, its cross-country team has made the state meet 13 times. That run includes the team's current stretch of 8 straight years in the state meet's top 10, and 2 first-place finishes, once in 2007, then again in 2009.
I think it's probably the coaching. They really get us invested, they get us dedicated, and they get us to work, and we really enjoy doing it, and we enjoy working with them.
I have 3 phenomenal coaches. They make it so much fun.
At the end of the workout, at the end of the practice, you're going to shake my hand.
You know, and each has their own different personality.
You have contracted some unspeakable disease that will get you, famous and on CNN. I want to know about it, but I don't really want to shake your hand. But we'll talk about it.
Spirits are high, and the team hopes that its spot within Illinois will be too. The Wildcats are coming off 7th and 10th place state finishes in 2012 and 2013, respectively.
I think last year we were just a little more inexperienced overall. But believe it or not, this team, our top 7, it could be, I don't know yet, it could be younger than last year. 20 leg raises, ready? Go. You know, I got a couple seniors that are pretty hungry that haven't been running top 7 yet, but they didn't run top 7 last year until late. So I think some of those seniors will rise up when it really matters.
The next 68 days, that's how many days we have between now and conference. I'll see you every day, except for Sundays, right? That's what commitment is. That's what it means to be a part of a team. And we're going to teach you a lot of things in those 68 days. Are we clear? Let's head on down. We're going to teach you the active warm-up.
Initiations to active warm-up like this are a common sight when Neuqua Cross Country opens practice each season with new runners.
Anyone can be good at it, and it's really great atmosphere. And a lot of people who finish Neuqua Valley Cross Country come back later and tell someone, hey, this was really fun for me, it'll probably be fun for you. And it spreads like that.
With about 140 runners, the team is massive. None of the other 5 area schools can say they're cracking 100 this season. Part of it is simple math. Neuqua Valley has more than 4,000 students. The other part is an active approach by its cross-country team.
So we try and reach out to anybody we can who's interested, and we just recommend it to anybody because anybody can be good at this sport if you put the work in.
Some of them are, yes, better runners than others, but that doesn't really matter to us. What matters to us is they come out here and try to become better and have fun in the process. And I think once the kids see that that's our ideal, that's our value, then they want to stay part of the program.
Over the past few years, one certain athlete has come out here and had fun. He's indoctrinated the values and traditions that Neuqua Valley holds so dear. The exact state of mind that head coach Paul Vandersteen wants to teach his runners can be summed up no better than by this one athlete.
Chris Somm means the world to us.
Chris, he means a lot to the team.
Chris Somm is the man.
Well, we found out ever since I was
ever since birth. I had a malformed blood vessel in my brain that just wasn't doing anything. It was just a tangle of blood vessels, and then one night it just decided to burst and leak blood into my brain.
About 1 year ago, that brain hemorrhage caused a stroke that impaired the Wildcat runner's left arm and leg. He was in the hospital for about 3 months. Earlier this year, Chris returned to the classrooms of Neuqua Valley and to a hero's welcome.
But now I'm able to, with a brace and cane and someone by me, I'm able to walk around everywhere in the house and go up and down stairs after just a year, which is amazing. It blew everyone away.
His initial diagnosis was pretty bleak, so it was a scare in the beginning, but he's been blessed to have a second chance, and you just have to adjust to the changes. Things aren't what you expected they'd be, but every day he just keeps working harder.
Part of that second chance comes in the form of a custom-made bike that allows Chris to ride along his teammates during practice.
Pedal with my right side. As you can see, there's a gear shift and brake and everything, and I would pedal and steer with my hands and feet.
It's been a long recovery for him, but just I've seen, like with him, the last 3 or 4 months, he's got that sparkle back in his eyes. He's out here with the team every day, and he's just a real motivating factor for us because he's not just sitting back and letting things happen. He's actually making things happen. He's trying to better himself, just like everybody else.
This summer,
Chris just got this bike a couple weeks ago.
Chris and his mom, Linda, have been at nearly every practice, no matter how early.
If I put this belt on him, that's going to help me get him into the bike.
No matter how difficult.
1, 2, 3.
The Psalms are there.
It means everything because without her, I would not be able to do most of the things I'm doing.
There you go.
She gives me physical and moral support day in and day out, and I can't believe how she's able to do that. And
we enjoy, at least I do, I enjoy coming out here and just seeing the guys and watching them work and enjoy and keep growing and have fun. And I think it helped us learn to appreciate, you know, what the kids have and what there is to look forward to.
In turn, the kids appreciate what Chris does.
We're going to do everything we can to make sure that his experience is the best that it possibly can be, and he's just very inspirational, and I'm glad that he's a part of the team, and I'm glad that he comes out every day and to practice and supports us.
21, down.
Even without Chris,
Try to get those hands touch on both sides.
the Wildcats would be a motivated bunch. But with him, Neuqua has even more incentive to find itself back on the state podium in November.
the atmosphere here is just so intoxicating, and the energy is an amazing feeling to be around. I just want to help everyone do their best.
I'm Justin Zipser for the home stretch.
Hopefully we'll win state.
smarter about what we bite on, okay? I want everyone to go outside. We're gonna run Red Rover on 3.
What about you, Tony?
I'm gonna run around in circles, flatten my arms, and make engine noises like this.
When it comes to playing, we kids are the pros.
We're eating right, too. We fuel up to play 60.
If your school doesn't have a program, be a leader. Start one.
Click today and join the movement.
We'll have more local high school sports coverage when Naperville Sports Weekly returns for Season 8 this fall. Thanks for joining us this summer for the home stretch. I'm Zach Groth.